Pico here, and I am joined by Ivan, and you are watching World of Warplanes live. Alright, so let's hop in. Last week, we had a bounty on Team Fulcrum. How did that go down?
That was awesome. It was really cool, actually. One of the great things we were talking about is bringing the new guys into the fold and having some of our really competitive tanks players come into Warplanes and just tear up the skies. And what was really cool about the bounty and what we were kind of hoping for, and turned out pretty well, is just to see a variation in skill levels and to see an incentive to really particularly pull someone out of the sky and go for that target. And you know, as Wargaming employees, we get this a lot because you get into battle with the tag and everyone's like, oh, there's a dev, let's go kill him. But to put that bounty up on the Fulcrum players and to just say, hey, go hunt somebody, really brought out a sort of new level of skill to show which players could really particularly focus on a target, and also added a kind of a little bit of a competitive bounty element in there. You know, the sheriff events that you guys are all familiar with, they're really successful and people love those, and to have that kind of thing with a whole group of players who are sort of new to the game to sort of force them to jump up to the next skill level is really exciting.
Okay, I wonder how the player reaction is, and also Fulcrum's reaction. I haven't had a chance to talk with them yet.
Yeah,
but
very mixed reaction from Fulcrum, and I'm going to go out on a limb and say the players that are very good and had a bit of a skill advantage coming in seemed to enjoy it because it meant that they had you know, sort of more targets to go for, and the players who were new and really just coming over from the tanks venue into planes were a little bit less than excited to have 50 people coming at them all the time.
And if you're not familiar with Fulcrum, they are one of the
number
top,
one, right?
Yeah, top teams in North America, and
in Russia. And
right,
in Russia.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, but they focus on tanks, so this is the first time they're really getting into planes and trying it out. So it kind of put them on more of a neutral level with everybody else.
Right. They're unbelievable tanks players, and some of them are quite good planes players as well. But you know, one of the things we really want to support is you know, clans diversifying, and you know, we are planning on adding, you know, more groups and clans and stuff like that into planes, not with the next patch, but in the future. And it's going to be really exciting to see these groups that merge in between, you know, taking advantage of unified premium, stuff like that, in order to really get the benefits out of both game, but also to really diversify your gaming experience. Because, you know, why are we playing video games? You want to take a break, you want to get excited, you want to do something, and sometimes you really just want to switch it up. You know, we like playing planes and tanks because it's so incredibly different from our day-to-day life. We've never been to war, you know. And to be able to do both tanks and planes, and then in the future ships, and then, you know, in the near future when you're at work and you only have 15 minutes to run outside and play some tanks on your iPad or whatnot, it's going to be very cool.
With Blitz and everything coming out.
All kinds of cool stuff.
All right, speaking of cool stuff, we have update 0.5.3 coming soon. There's some changes to like tech trees,
oh
crew
man,
setups
are there
and
some
stuff.
awesome changes with this patch?
You want to go into some of the
Yeah, let's
changes?
dive into it. Oh man, so one of the great things about this patch is, what did you guys say? That's this patch. So, for example, basic optimization stuff. We want the game to run better. Bam, we've done it. Your game will run better with the next patch. We've optimized CPUs, stuff like that. How about British trees, Spitfires, MKs, Rolls-Royce engines coming in very soon, patch 5.3. So you will be seeing a full British tech tree, all available to fly, to tear up the skies, more machine guns and cannons and all kinds of exciting stuff than you could want. So British planes are coming. That's going to be really exciting. We've also done a couple of things based on player feedback, as we were saying, to make the game a little bit more friendly. So for example, we're taking away carrier-based aircraft. That doesn't mean that we're removing any of those planes. No planes are being removed with the next patch, but we're taking away the title. So as in World of Tanks, when you can't, you know, train an SPG crew for a heavy tank, you can't train a carrier-based aircraft crew to a fighter. You can't exactly to a fighter plane. With the new patch, we're going to make all planes that were formerly carrier-based fighters into just fighters, one big category, and that's going to mean you're going to have a lot more maneuverability with your crews in order to move them place to place, train things, expand down those lines. Another really exciting change directly as a result of player feedback is we're changing the tier system a little bit for our matchmaker. And we've been trying to, you know, tweak the matchmaker a lot in recent weeks and months. But one of the big issues we were having was with 2 and 4 matches, in that a tier 2 plane is a lot of fun to play if you're in a 1, 2, 3 battle, not so much fun to play in a tier 4 battle. So we've just completely removed that mechanic. You will no longer see tier 4 planes in a tier 2 plane, and you will no longer see tier 2 planes in a tier 4 plane. So we've changed the spread in a couple of areas to be a little bit more specific where we know those specific gaps are, because we really want it to be fun. And also, I'm sure that several of you have had the experience of getting on your first day or first couple days and getting out in the skies and just really getting blasted to smithereens by some of these pro players who are out there. And we don't want that to happen. We want, you know, those pro players will sometimes come in and do their SEAL clubbing and whatnot, but we really want you to be able to enjoy your first couple of games and get out there and just blow some stuff up. So we did change that tier spread, make it a little bit more user-friendly. We've also upgraded and improved our tutorials. So people really like the new tutorials, but some of the comments we got was they're a little bit too fast in some places and that you need time to sort of, soak in what's happening. And also, some parts of it were a little bit too difficult for being a learning exercise. So we have changed the tutorials. We've added some pause points, a little bit more specific mechanics. So the tutorials are going to be more fun. And then finally, as far as game mechanics go, there are a couple things that we experimented with, which are with our last patch, which weren't super popular. And we said, how can we make this better? How can we improve the game? So for example, we have improved the climb rate for every plane in the game. That means you're going to be able to fly to altitude a little bit faster, which is going to mean when you get into those really exciting sort of tailing down spiral of destruction battles when you're on Pacific and stuff like that, you're going to be able to get up a little bit higher, and you're going to be able to climb a little bit more if you're in a lower tier plane like your I-5 or whatever, whereas previously you were kind of cut out at about 1,000 meters because it was difficult to climb. Another change similar to that is we've reduced spread on firing, which is going to mean a little bit more of an accuracy dynamic, which is interesting because we did something similar with tanks. If you remember, we improved accuracy for once your reticle is fully zoomed in for World of Tanks. And people seem to really like that because it means that you still have that spread, you still have a little bit of randomness, but your skill is a significant factor in battle. And we wanted to bring that out without completely destroying the new players and taking away their chance to get into the competitive field.
Another thing, we'll also be giving several new planes to our players.
Oh yeah, how could I forget? So we have, I don't know if I can give you the official number now, but it is double digits of premium planes coming into the game, and you guys are going to get all but one of them for free. We want you to test them. We don't want you to have to use those tokens, which are valuable now because you can use them for premium time. So we're just going to give them to you guys. It's one of our little, last sort of tested out thank yous before the game goes live. So get out there. There are some fun planes, mostly in the 3, 4, 5, 6 range, but there are a couple of outliers there. And very excited to see some of these premium planes. And part of the reason we're giving them for free to everybody is because we know they're not going to be perfect right off the bat. We know that. But release is coming soon, and we want the time to balance them. We want everybody to be flying them, trying them out. There will also be an exclusive plane, which you can purchase for tokens, which we will not be giving you for free, but which will have a very special benefit for you, which I will be talking about in next week's stream.
Oh, we have to wait till next week?
I know, but
no.
It's something very exciting. And, just keep in mind with all these changes, guys, the reason we're doing this is to make the game better, but we care about you. And the reason we can make this game better and the people we're making the game better for are you. So we listen to your feedback. We make these changes like, improving the accuracy and the spread and whatnot. But we also are really trying to integrate things that will reward you guys for the time that you've put into helping us make this game into what it's becoming. So, we've already talked about Tier 1 crew experience being given to all the Tier 1 crews. You start, on an even playing field, but with a little bit of a performance advantage in terms of your pilots. We've talked about reward planes that you're going to get in terms of your participation in the beta. Also unified premium time, but we have a couple other little odds and ends that we're throwing in there. As we know, we have been sort of putting off the release bit by bit. So we are just adding more and more stuff that you guys will be able to take advantage of and that you will be able to continue to enjoy after the beta ends. So very cool, exciting stuff coming up soon. Stay posted on our forum and our portal for updates.
And the thing most people were really excited about and they kept asking about is the British line.
Yeah, we're not having British planes with the next patch.
No.
No more British planes. In fact, we're never introducing them.
No,
I'm just kidding. We do have a full British tech tree coming in, as I said. It's going to be really exciting. I think there's 4 or 5 Spitfires in there. Spitfire 9 is in there. Some really classic planes. There are going to be some attack aircraft British in there. Don't quote me. There's rumors of a P-38. I can't officially confirm that right now. So we might be seeing the Lightning. But it's going to be awesome to see a whole new class of planes come into the game, because one of the really cool dynamics we have now is the variety in terms of even within the fighters. So, if you see our screens now, we've got the XP-77 up for you, and I have an F4F. Both of these, once we remove the carrier-based designation, are going to be fighters. They're in one category, but they're totally different planes. The XP-77 is incredibly maneuverable with low firepower, while the F4F is fairly maneuverable but has high firepower and high hit points. It can take some damage. So the British are going to be sort of a whole new element to that. The Yak line is very effective at sort of low altitude, close range fighting because of the high caliber of their weapons, but their slower fire rate. And the British have a huge variety in terms of their effectiveness, and at high altitude can really just do incredible stuff. But also, as with the Russian line, you know, when we look at the sort of significant differences between an I-16 and an LA-5, whereas one is high speed and firepower and no health, and one is no health and incredible maneuverability and low firepower, there's a lot of variation within that specific line. The same is going to be true for our British line. You're really going to be developing through completely different stuff and really experiencing different elements of the game as you fly through those planes. And if we look at some of the most popular lines in World of Tanks, you know, one of my favorites is the line up to the T-57 Heavy, for example. And that's a crazy tank line, because you start out with, like, you know, a medium tank, go to a light tank, go to a heavy tank, end up with the T-71, which is like an autoloader light tank, which is, you know, doesn't really fit in anywhere. Then your next tank is an autoloader medium tank, and then you end up with this heavy autoloader monster tank. And, like, you've gone through the gauntlet of different kinds of vehicles to get there. And it's fun, because, you know, you hit that tier 7. It's not like you're not going to grind out the tier 8. And you might start hating it, but by the time you've done that 20th or 30th battle, you're really going to start to like it. And you might say, hey, maybe I want to try a light tank line. And that's one of the cool things with the British line. You know, try it out, make sure you want that Spitfire 9, work your way up to it, and then say, you know, I actually really like that attack aircraft on the way. Maybe I should look into some BF-110s, look into some IL-2s.
To find out full patch notes, go to worldofwarplanes.com. If you are watching this on YouTube, you can check us out live on Thursdays from 2 to 3 Pacific. If you are watching this right now, stay tuned. We'll be right back with Q&A, prizes, and gameplay.
All sorts of fun stuff.